Hey, Edna Wilson here, your hometown realtor as Hometown's Apple Pie with this week's Education Corner. So buyer incentives. Have you heard this term, buyer incentives? What the heck is a buyer incentive? Isn't getting the house an incentive enough? Well, sometimes yes. Mostly where we see that terminology, especially in a market like today, because today we're living in a seller's market, is you see that sometimes with your builders. They'll do a buyer incentive, especially big builders like D.R. Horton, for example. Huge builder around the nation. They'll have buyer incentives. And what that looks like is that they're going to pay some of your closing costs or your prepaid. So for example, right now, D.R. Horton, I believe last time I checked into it, had about $5,000 buyer incentive. So basically at closing, they're going to give you a $5,000 credit towards your closing costs. So that's less money out of your pocket. Sometimes they have buyer incentives where you have to put less money down. Sometimes buyer incentives could be that it comes with a cleaning service for a year. It's crazy. It doesn't really matter. Just always make sure you ask the question, what is the buyer incentive, or is there one? Now, in a buyer's market, we'll see this with our listings because all of a sudden now buyers have lots of houses to choose from. And so sometimes you can see something crazy that gets accepted. Maybe you get the fresh market food delivery for a year. Maybe you get housekeeping for a year. Maybe your HOA fees are paid in advance for a year or 6 months. So these are things that happen sometimes in a buyer's market. Again, not seeing that right now, but for our builders, we do see buyer's incentives all the time, and they usually equal thousands of dollars of incentives that help you out, the buyer. Well, I hope that was explaining a little bit about what a buyer incentive is, and I will talk to you next week. Edna Wilson, your hometown realtor as Hometown's Apple Pie.